Okay, so a lot of things have been going on, and that's good. I feel like I'm really pushing my limits lately a lot, um, into moving to this phase where um, finally the sense of like career can meld with my sense of enjoyment. So I feel like finally the things that I genuinely enjoy um, can sort of move into this section of my life that I consider career. So it feels like things are moving along nicely, and I'm getting like the right insights to do the right things, and um, yeah, it feels like part of my purpose is to teach others, and I feel like now I finally know what I want to teach. Whereas before, I've tried different types of teaching, and I think I was teaching. I was doing just conventional teaching when I got out of college, and now I get to teach more fun stuff for me. I get to teach edgier things about human sensuality, sexuality, body awareness, and pride, um, and relationships, and connections, and addiction, and depression. All these different things that didn't fully fit together, I feel like now can fit together. So I have a degree in psychology. I have background teaching, doing life coaching, and then my own journey as well. And now it feels like it all kind of fits together where it didn't really make a lot of sense. And I was told by somebody a few years back this idea that don't try to think it through, just feel it through, and then the understanding will come later. And that seemed valid to me. That seemed like he was right. But of course, it's easier said than done. And I know that like thinking it through was kind of a struggle. Like I hit a wall where it's like I couldn't possibly think it through anymore. I couldn't just sit there and try to fit it all together and worry about this and that. And I think it just came to a point where, okay, well, let's try this thing if we just feel it through and trust. And then if that doesn't work, then I can always rethink it through again. But I do like this idea that feeling through my life, and then in retrospect, I can understand how it all made sense. So I really feel like that's happening. I'm getting much more solid, much more courageous. Like I feel like with every day that goes by, I like care less what people think of me, which is great. So, and I know they say that like for women that like they reach their prime like in their 40s, and I feel like that's totally going to be me too, because it's just like you stop caring more and more. So, and yeah, so I feel excited about a lot of things that are happening, and I'm very aware that a lot of the stuff like is currently stressful, but I think eventually it will become less stressful. Yeah, I used to always take all those personality tests, and I was always an introvert, with the sort of idea that an introvert looks within for the strength and for the comfort and for the answers and for the whatever that is, that juice, that um, those resources. Whereas extroverts are more likely to look externally. And I was like, well, that's definitely true for most of my life. And now I'm getting to a point where I actually just really want to be extroverted. So I want to embrace that side of myself much more. And I feel like now I can handle it more. Somebody I know wrote a great article about introversion, and how it relates to like being controlling. This idea that you're trying to control all your feelings and all your sensations and all your opinions about something. So you just kind of cut off how much you can see. You just kind of keep yourself with narrower focus rather than like trying to focus on the wider picture or whatever. And I felt like that was true for me. That what she said in the article. But I've been aware of that for a while. And not really knowing what to do with it. I mean, I did a program, a cognitive behavioral program for social anxiety, because I knew that I have these social capacities, and I have a certain sense of boldness and love for people and wanting to help people. And then I have these weird things that inhibit part of my mission. So I've worked with it in the past, trying to, I guess, be less afraid of people so that I could help people. And I feel like I'm finally getting to that point where, like, so like in the article, she was saying that it's this overload of sensation. And I think now I'm in a place where I can be at peace with the sensation. I'm doing a lot of meditation practices. Circling is the name of one of them. And it's this idea of just being with whatever arises. And so if panic arises, all you do is be with it. You don't need to try to change it. Sometimes trying to change it makes you more anxious. So I'm practicing just being with the thing that arises and not judging it, and letting it express itself how it wants to express itself. And almost like sort of enjoying the process of it being a surprise, like not really knowing where it's going to go. Like, okay, I feel like crazy right now. And just observing the feeling, the craziness, the restlessness, whatever it may be, and letting it be okay. And also expressing it too. Because when I used to sing, I sang for many years when I was younger, and I got, I used to be really bold about it, and then I developed a sense of stage fright. Because I guess I got this idea that I'm supposed to be performing. I'm supposed to be conveying something other than what I'm feeling. And then it got anxious for me because I couldn't be fake. I couldn't, like, pretend. So it's like, if I was nervous and I have to sing, if I'm singing a song that's not about nervousness, how am I supposed to sing? Like, I didn't know how to do that. And now I feel like I'm in more positions where I can just be honest about what I'm doing. Like, I'm not in certain structures, like maybe with teaching, where they, like, hard and fast need me to be a certain way, and they're not okay with me being another way. So it's like what I'm teaching is in line with who I am. So as I teach, if I'm nervous, I can just express that, and it doesn't ruin the teaching. It actually enhances the teaching. So I feel like I'm kind of getting the hang of it. While being aware that, like, there's still a lot of resistances and anxieties and, like, feelings of, like, overwhelm. But I feel it more at peace with it now. And I now that I'm seeing, like, things start to move, it feels exciting. Yeah, so a lot of cool things I'm looking forward to. There are a lot of festivals coming up, and I'm going to this, like, meditation retreat, workshop, and I'm doing these things, like, for my own joy, and then from that I still feel like I'm gonna gather new tools to teach with, so that'll be fun, and I feel like there's gonna be a lot going on in New York too. I feel I'm working a lot harder in Florida to build these things, to build structures that are not quite existing yet. So I expect that when I go to New York, it's just going to be like wildfire, because there are a lot of structures in New York already. So it'll be interesting to see how the intensity of all that, how I handle that. I expect that I'm going to enjoy it, but maybe it'll just be like a lot of sensation again. But again, I'm going to practice not closing off to it, and rather than closing off to the sensation, like expanding into the sensation. So how can I make this more expansive? Also, I've recently realized this idea that I personally don't have to do it all, because one of my big passions is community and building community, building families. And I like this idea of, like, I don't have to be the plate spinner. Like, the plate can spin itself. So now I'm, like, doing a lot of cross-relational stuff. Like, if I think somebody in the community can fulfill a need that better than I can, or maybe in addition to what I can, I'll be like, hey, have you met my friend this? Like, so I'm really, like, enjoying introducing different parts of my friends to other parts of my friendships, and because I feel like we can all sort of hold each other. We can all support each other in nuanced ways, and I like to see all that come together. It's really cool. I'm out of time.